The evening. Pause, soft sigh. The sun was melting into the ocean. Slowly, gracefully, painting the sky in soft shades of gold, rose, and gentle orange. Daniel stood, barefoot, on the cool sand, feeling it shift beneath his feet as tiny grains brushed against his toes. Slight pause. Behind him, his daughter Lily, a bright spark of energy, was laughing, chasing the waves as they reached her tiny feet. Life, slightly heavier tone, had not been easy. Since his wife passed away 3 years ago, Daniel had lived only for Lily. Pause. Every morning was rushed, every night, silent. Between office deadlines and bedtime stories, he had forgotten. Soft sigh, forgotten what it felt like to simply breathe. Music swells lightly, slow and emotional. But tonight, gentle lift in voice, tonight was different. He had taken a rare day off. Pause, warmth in tone, no emails. No meetings. Just the ocean, and his daughter's laughter, carrying in the wind. Daddy, look. Lily's voice rang out suddenly. Bright, urgent, pure. Pause, imitate childlike excitement. She held up a seashell, like it was treasure, a tiny piece of the world, sparkling in the soft evening light. Daniel smiled, softly. Pause, warmth in voice, a smile he hadn't allowed himself, in a long time. And then, pause, lower tone, suspenseful, he froze. A voice, familiar, carried gently through the wind. Daniel. He turned slowly. Pause, imagine slow motion, his heart skipping. And there she was. Slightly emotional breath. Sophia Carter. Pause, whispering tone, his boss. The CEO. Calm. Elegant. Powerful in the office, yet here, barefoot, on the sand, hair moving freely in the sea breeze, catching the last rays of the sunset. For a moment. Long pause, soft tone, neither of them spoke. The world seemed to pause. Small sigh, slower pace, the ocean, the sand, the sky, all faded, leaving only the quiet between them. I didn't expect to see you here, she said, gently. Daniel cleared his throat. Slight nervous chuckle, neither did I. Lily, soft, cheerful tone, unaware of the tension, ran toward him, hugging his leg, giggling. Sophia's eyes softened instantly. And this must be Lily, she whispered, softly, warmly, with care in her tone. The way she said Lily's name. Pause. It wasn't formal. It wasn't distant. It was warm, sincere, real. And in that quiet, between the waves and the wind, something shifted. Slight pause, lower tone, emotional. Daniel didn't know it yet. Pause. But one simple conversation was about to change everything. Music fades slightly, gentle piano chords begin. He bent down, just a little, and tucked a strand of Lily's hair behind her ear. Pause. His eyes met Sophia's, and something unspoken passed between them. You didn't expect to see me here, he asked softly, trying to sound casual, but his heart betrayed him. Soft, nervous laugh. No, not at all, she said, a faint smile, almost hesitant, almost shy. Pause. Yet there was something in her gaze, something that made the world feel lighter, warmer. Daniel felt a warmth spread. Slight pause, a flutter in his chest, something he hadn't felt in years. Lily picked up another seashell, examining it closely, then held it up to show Sophia. Look what I found, she said. Sophia knelt, gently, bringing herself to Lily's height, her dress brushing lightly against the sand, hair falling softly around her face. That's beautiful, Lily, she said, voice soft, caring, her smile radiant, genuine. Daniel watched quietly. Pause, his heart pounding. Slightly heavier tone. How could someone be so commanding in the office, and yet so gentle here? The waves lapped softly at their feet, rhythmically, like a heartbeat, reminding him of something long forgotten. I didn't know you came to the beach, Daniel said cautiously, a small smile tugging at his lips. I come here sometimes, she replied, eyes on the horizon. To think, to breathe. Slight pause, soft sigh. Her words, simple, yet they resonated deep inside him, where he thought all feeling had gone cold. They walked slowly along the shoreline. Lily skipping ahead, collecting shells, laughing, chasing tiny waves, her happiness contagious. For a moment. Pause. Daniel forgot about work, about life, about everything. Except this quiet, simple, beautiful moment. He looked at Sophia again, her dress flowing gently in the wind, sun casting a halo around her hair, and he realized she wasn't just his boss, She wasn't just a figure of authority. She was real, human, kind, and, incredibly, beautiful. Lily ran back, holding another seashell. "Look, Daddy. Look, Sophia," she said. Sophia knelt, brushing sand from Lily's tiny hands, laughing softly, her eyes crinkling at the edges, a laugh so soft, so warm. Daniel felt something inside him stir, awaken, something he had long forgotten. He wanted to say something, anything, but words, pause, soft sigh, failed him. Instead, he simply watched. He watched the sun dip lower, casting long reflections across the wet sand, painting everything in gold, pink, orange, colors that felt almost magical. Sophia glanced at him, eyes meeting his, and for a fleeting moment, the world outside, the office, the past, all of it, disappeared. He noticed the smallest things, the way her hair caught the wind, the softness of her smile, the warmth in her gaze. Pause, slower, every detail, burned into his mind, quietly, deeply. Daniel took a breath, slow, measured, trying to anchor himself to this moment, because he sensed something important, something life-changing, was happening. "Daniel," Sophia said, her voice soft, yet clear. "It's good to see you outside of work." Her words, simple, but they hit him profoundly, like a pebble thrown into still water, rippling through him, filling him with hope, curiosity, something he hadn't felt in a long time. He smiled, shakily, a nervous laugh escaping. I feel the same," he admitted, quietly. And for once, there was no pretense, no walls, just truth. Lily tugged at his hand, reminding him to live in the moment, to not overthink, to not let fear hold him back. And as they stood there, the three of them, the ocean stretching infinitely ahead, waves singing their gentle song, Daniel realized life had a way of surprising you at the quietest, most unexpected moments. He glanced at Sophia one last time, before turning to Lily, and then back, and he knew, whatever this was. Slight pause, softer voice, it was only beginning. Music swells gently, ocean waves rise slightly in sound. And in the fading golden light, as the wind carried the scent of salt and sand, Daniel felt, for the first time in years, a flicker, a spark, a quiet, yet undeniable, hope. Something was changing. Pause, lower tone, reflective, something beautiful. The evening sun melted further into the horizon, painting the world in its final glow, and for Daniel, for Lily, for Sophia, life felt a little lighter, a little warmer, a little filled with possibility. Soft sigh, pause, gentle wave sounds fade out. And so, on that quiet shore, barefoot, with the sound of waves, and a little girl laughing, and a woman who had suddenly become impossible to ignore, Daniel took a breath, and let himself, just for a moment, feel alive. Pause, soft piano notes linger, fade out. The waves continued their gentle rhythm. Pause, lapping at the shore, carrying the faint scent of salt and seaweed. Lily ran ahead, her little feet splashing in the shallow water, a trail of giggles following her. Daniel watched her. Soft exhale, a smile tugging at the corner of his lips, but his attention couldn't escape the woman walking beside him. Sophia. Her presence, calm, elegant, yet entirely human, made the world feel simultaneously ordinary and extraordinary. They walked in silence, the kind of silence that isn't awkward, but full. Full of things unspoken, words hovering, waiting, uncertain. Daniel cleared his throat. Soft, nervous. "You come here often?" he asked, careful, hesitant, trying to sound casual, though his heart betrayed him. Sophia glanced at him, her eyes reflecting the golden sunset, the waves sparkling behind her. "Sometimes," she said softly, a gentle smile playing on her lips. "Pause, when I need to think, to breathe." Her words, simple, yet they struck something deep inside him, a chord that had lain dormant for years. Daniel wanted to reply, to say something clever, something witty, something that would make her look at him differently. But all he could do was listen. Soft ambient sound of waves intensifies slightly. Lily picked up another seashell, examining it closely, and then held it up, running back to them. "Look, Sophia. Look, Daddy," she exclaimed. Sophia knelt down, letting the sand brush against her light summer dress, and smiled warmly at Lily. "That's beautiful, Lily," she said, her voice soft, caring, genuine. The kind of voice that made you feel safe. Daniel watched them, his chest tightening, not with jealousy, but awe, admiration, a quiet, warming emotion he couldn't name. He cleared his throat again. She loves the beach, he said softly, half to himself. Sophia looked up, meeting his gaze. Pause, emotional tone. And you? She asked gently. Do you come here often? Daniel hesitated, then smiled faintly. Not enough, he admitted. I usually only come when I take time off. And, well, I don't take much time off. Pause, subtle sigh. Sophia's eyes softened, a flicker of understanding, of empathy, crossing her face. You should, she said quietly. Everyone deserves a moment like this, a place to breathe, to remember what really matters. Soft piano chord, emotional swell. Daniel felt the weight of her words settle on him, like warm sunlight, like the sand beneath his feet, grounding him, reminding him of all the things he'd forgotten. They continued walking, side by side, the space between them, small, intimate, yet charged, unspoken tension filling it like the wind filling the sails of a boat. Lily ran ahead again, skipping and laughing, the tiny sound of pure joy echoing across the beach, and Daniel watched her, smiling. And then, back at Sophia, catching her eye, and for a fleeting second, it was as if the world, outside the waves, outside the sun, outside the soft hum of life, had ceased to exist. He noticed the little things, the way her hair caught the last rays of sun, the soft sway of her dress in the breeze, the quiet confidence in her posture, and yet, the gentleness in her eyes. He wanted. Soft pause, breathy tone, he wanted to reach out, to say something, to bridge the quiet space between them. But words failed him. Sophia smiled, faintly, knowingly, as if she could feel the hesitancy, the flicker of feeling, and chose not to push. Instead, she simply said, softly, I'm glad I ran into you, Daniel. Her voice, warm, simple, sincere, and yet, it made his heart quicken, flutter, a strange mix of nervousness and comfort. Daniel nodded, swallowing. I'm glad too. Soft exhale, pause, waves hitting gently. For a moment, they walked in silence again, letting the ocean speak, letting the sand shift beneath their feet, letting Lily's laughter punctuate the moment like tiny bells, small, fleeting, but magical. Daniel wanted to understand, wanted to feel, wanted to remember, all at once. But this quiet, this simple, was enough, for now. Sophia glanced down at Lily, then back at Daniel, her eyes meeting his, and he saw something, a flicker of connection, subtle, unspoken, but undeniable. Do you always come alone? He asked softly, voice hesitant, careful, testing. Not always, she replied, a slight laugh, light, airy, soft. But, sometimes. I prefer it this way. Peace, solitude, reflection. Her words, again, struck him, and he realized she understood more than she let on, more than she needed to, more than he had ever expected. Soft pause, gentle piano swell, waves lapping rhythmically. Daniel felt a warmth creeping slowly into his chest, a spark, a flicker, a quiet anticipation. He hadn't felt in years, maybe, since before Lily, since before the world became only responsibility, only schedules, only silence. Lily suddenly squealed, holding up a bigger seashell. Look what I found. Look. Sophia knelt, brushing sand from Lily's hands, laughter spilling softly, a sound that made Daniel's heart twist, in a way he didn't understand, yet liked very much. They watched the sun dip lower, casting long golden reflections across the water, painting everything in hues of rose, amber, gold. Daniel felt, for a moment, that time had stopped, that the world had paused, that it existed only for them, only for this quiet, perfect evening. Sophia looked at him again, and something in her eyes, something unspoken, lingered long after the words faded, long after the sun touched the horizon, long after the waves whispered their secrets to the sand. And Daniel, he realized, something had begun. Pause, softer tone, something delicate, fragile, yet profound, that he could not name, yet knew was real. He smiled faintly, unsure, nervous, but alive. Lily tugged his hand, pulling him toward the water, her laughter ringing pure, and he followed, glancing back at Sophia, and catching her smile, a little shy, a little knowing, and something unspoken passed between them, quietly, beautifully. The sun finally dipped below the horizon, leaving a soft trail of amber and rose, a memory etched into the sand, into the ocean, into his heart. And in that moment, Daniel knew life had a way of giving small, quiet gifts at the most unexpected times, through waves, through laughter, through a voice, soft and warm, carried on the wind. Soft music swells, Wave sounds linger, gentle sigh. And as they walked back along the shoreline, Daniel glanced at Sophia, and for the first time in a long time, he felt hope. Pause, soft exhale. Hope that maybe, just maybe, life could be beautiful again. Soft fade out of waves and piano.